The question of how humans first arrived in the Americas has intrigued scholars for centuries, sparking debates and research that continue to evolve. Traditionally, it was believed that humans migrated from Asia to North America via the Bering Land Bridge, a land corridor exposed by lower sea levels during the Ice Age. This theory suggested that, around 12,000 years ago, early human populations crossed from Siberia into what is now Alaska and gradually spread throughout the continent. For many years, this Bering Land Bridge theory was the dominant explanation, supported by archaeological findings such as distinctive stone tools, including the famous Clovis points, which were associated with these early settlers. These tools, often linked with large game hunting, were seen as evidence of the first human activity in the Americas. However, more recent discoveries have begun to challenge this narrative. Archaeological sites such as Monteverde in southern Chile, dating back as far as 30,000 years, indicate that humans may have arrived much earlier than previously thought. These findings suggest that migration could have occurred along coastal routes, and that humans may have traveled by sea rather than solely over land. As more evidence emerges, researchers are revisiting the timeline and the methods of migration into the Americas. The evolving story of human settlement is not just about crossing land bridges, but involves exploring various routes, including maritime pathways, and reconsidering when and how humans first populated the vast and diverse landscapes of the Americas. For much of the 20th century, the prevailing theory regarding the first human migration into the Americas was the Bering Land Bridge hypothesis. This idea proposed that during the last ice age, sea levels were much lower than they are today due to large amounts of water being locked in ice sheets. As a result, a land bridge known as Beringia emerged, connecting Siberia in Asia to Alaska in North America. This land corridor is thought to have been the primary route by which the first human populations entered the Americas, sometime around 12,000 years ago. The theory was first proposed in the early 1930s by Carl S. Schmitt, and it quickly gained support due to the archaeological evidence that appeared to confirm it. The discovery of stone tools and weapons, such as the distinctive Clovis points, led researchers to believe that the Paleo-Indians, the earliest known human inhabitants of North America, were responsible for shaping the continent's early history. These points were found in various locations across North America, and were linked with a hunting culture that specialized in hunting large Ice Age animals, including mammoths, mastodons, and bison. The Clovis culture, named after the town of Clovis, New Mexico, where these artifacts were first discovered, became the defining culture associated with early humans in the Americas. The theory that these early settlers crossed over from Asia via the Bering Land Bridge was supported by genetic, linguistic, and archaeological evidence, and for many years, it seemed to be the most plausible explanation for how humans arrived in the Americas. According to this model, as the Ice Age began to retreat, the land bridge would have submerged again, cutting off any further migration. The Paleo-Indians, now isolated in the Americas, began to spread across the continent. Over time, these early settlers adapted to a variety of environments, from the tundra of Alaska to the forests and plains of North America, developing unique tools, practices, and cultures suited to their surroundings. Despite its wide acceptance, the Bering Land Bridge hypothesis began to face challenges as more evidence emerged in the latter half of the 20th century. Critics argued that the theory did not fully explain the complexities of early human migration and settlement. The Clovis first model, for instance, suggested that all humans in the Americas came from the same migration wave and culture, which became less plausible as more ancient sites were discovered. Additionally, the theory failed to account for the possibility that early humans could have arrived by different routes, or that human presence in the Americas could date back earlier than previously thought. As research techniques improved, archaeologists began finding evidence of pre-Clovis cultures, human settlements that existed thousands of years before the Clovis people. These findings raised new questions about the timing and manner of human migration into the Americas, prompting scientists to rethink the Bering Land Bridge theory and explore alternative possibilities. While the Bering Land Bridge hypothesis remains an important part of the story of human migration into the Americas, it is increasingly seen as only one piece of a much larger puzzle. The discovery of more ancient human sites, combined with advances in genetics and climate studies, has led researchers to consider other routes and timeframes for the arrival of the first humans on the continent. Over the past few decades, new evidence has emerged that challenges the traditional Bering Land Bridge theory, suggesting that humans may have arrived in the Americas much earlier than previously believed. This new wave of discoveries has led scientists to rethink the timing and routes of the first human migrations, opening the door to alternative explanations for the settlement of the Americas. One of the most significant pieces of evidence that has raised questions about the traditional timeline is the discovery of ancient stone tools in South America that date back to approximately 30,000 years ago. In the 1990s, archaeologists uncovered a collection of large, sharp-edged stone tools in the coastal region of southern Chile, far beyond the reach of the Bering Land Bridge. These tools, which appear to have been used for butchering animals, were found in deposits that predate the Clovis culture by several thousand years. This discovery suggests that humans may have arrived in South America well before the traditional 12,000-year timeline. Another key find that has influenced this shift in thinking is the 2020 discovery in Mexico's Chiquihuite Cave. Inside the cave, researchers found evidence of human habitation dating back around 26,000 years. The evidence includes stone tools and animal remains that show signs of processing, indicating that humans were living in the area and hunting animals. The discovery of this site was significant because it challenged the assumption that humans could only have arrived in the Americas through a single migration event along the Bering Land Bridge. Instead, it suggests that people may have been present in the Americas earlier, possibly arriving via coastal routes. These findings raise new questions about how early humans traveled to the Americas. While the Bering Land Bridge theory suggests a migration route from Siberia into Alaska, the evidence from southern Chile and Mexico implies that humans may have traveled along the Pacific coastline, bypassing the land bridge entirely. This coastal migration theory posits that early humans could have traveled by boat, following the edge of the continent and gradually moving southward, rather than crossing a land bridge through an ice-filled corridor. Additionally, there have been other, less well-known discoveries that support the idea of an earlier human presence in the Americas. In 2018, researchers found evidence of human footprints in the Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, dating back around 23,000 years. These footprints, preserved in mud, are among the oldest evidence of human presence in North America. They were discovered in a location that would have been covered by water at the time of the Clovis migration, suggesting that early humans may have had to navigate a different set of environmental challenges than previously thought. Genetic evidence has also played a crucial role in shifting our understanding of early human migration. DNA studies of Native American populations have revealed genetic markers that indicate multiple waves of migration, some of which may have occurred earlier than the traditional 12,000-year time frame. For example, genetic studies of ancient remains from a site in Alaska known as the Bluefish Caves show signs of an indigenous population that existed long before the Clovis culture. This further supports the idea that human migration into the Americas was more complex and involved multiple pathways. These new findings have sparked a growing debate among archaeologists, anthropologists, and geneticists about the nature of the first human migration to the Americas. While the Bering Land Bridge remains a strong part of the story, it is becoming increasingly clear that the migration timeline is far more nuanced than originally thought. The evidence for earlier human arrival, along with the potential use of coastal migration routes, paints a picture of a more diverse and complex history of human settlement in the Americas. As new discoveries continue to emerge, scientists are refining their theories and expanding their understanding of how early humans made their way to the New World. While the Bering Land Bridge theory has been the dominant explanation for how humans first arrived in the Americas, alternative theories have gained traction in recent years, particularly the coastal and oceanic migration hypothesis. These theories suggest that early humans may have traveled along the coastlines or by sea, rather than relying on the land bridge, offering new perspectives on the routes they might have taken to reach the Americas. The coastal migration theory posits that humans, instead of crossing the Bering Land Bridge, traveled along the ice-free Pacific coastline, using boats or rafts to navigate from Asia into North America. This theory is based on the idea that there were habitable areas along the western coast of North America that would have been accessible to early human populations, especially those capable of seafaring. Archaeological evidence from coastal regions, such as the discovery of ancient tools and the remains of marine animals, supports the possibility of human migration by sea. One of the key pieces of evidence supporting the coastal migration theory is the 1990s discovery of ancient stone tools in southern Chile, dating back to approximately 14,000 years ago. These tools were found far south of the Bering Land Bridge, suggesting that people might have followed a coastal route, bypassing the land bridge altogether. Further studies of the region have revealed more evidence of early human habitation, indicating that these coastal routes could have played a crucial role in the peopling of the Americas. Additionally, the discovery of the Chiquihuite Cave in Mexico in 2020 revealed evidence of human activity dating back to around 26,000 years ago. The artifacts found in this cave, including stone tools and remains of butchered animals, hint that early humans may have followed coastal paths along the Pacific coast of North and South America. These findings suggest that instead of traveling through an ice-free corridor that connected the Bering Land Bridge to the interior of the continent, people may have used the coastal routes to move southward more rapidly. Proponents of the oceanic migration theory take this idea a step further, proposing that early humans used watercraft to travel along the coastlines and even across ocean. This theory is supported by evidence of sophisticated seafaring technology used by ancient cultures, such as the Polynesians. Archaeologists suggest that the earliest migrants might have had the skills and technology to travel by boat across the open ocean, similar to the later voyages of the Polynesian peoples. Genetic studies of populations in the Americas show evidence of ancestral links with populations from Oceania, raising the possibility of pre-Columbian contact across the Pacific. One of the most intriguing aspects of the coastal and oceanic migration theories is the idea that early humans might have made contact with the Americas much earlier than the Clovis culture, which is traditionally considered the first widespread human culture in the Americas. Some scholars believe that small groups of people may have followed the coastlines for thousands of years, creating a much earlier and more complex history of migration than previously imagined. While these theories are still being debated within the scientific community, they present a compelling alternative to the Bering Land Bridge hypothesis. Coastal and oceanic migration routes offer a more nuanced understanding of how early humans could have traveled across vast distances and adapted to diverse environments. As new evidence continues to emerge, scientists are increasingly open to the idea that the first human settlement of the Americas involved multiple migration routes, both on land and by sea. These alternative theories provide a richer, more diverse view of human history, revealing the resilience and adaptability of early peoples who ventured into new, unknown territory. As the first humans settled in the Americas, they adapted to a wide variety of environments, resulting in the development of diverse cultures. The migration across vast landscapes shaped how these early societies lived, thrived, and evolved. The first settlers, known as Paleo-Indians, spread from the frozen north to the warm, fertile southern regions of the Americas, where they learned to survive in new and often challenging environments. In North America, Paleo-Indians adapted to the landscapes they encountered. In the Great Plains, where herds of bison roamed, early groups developed effective hunting techniques, using tools such as the atlatl to hunt large game. These early hunters were resourceful, and their strategies allowed them to form close-knit communities that were able to depend on bison as a major food source. Similarly, in the forests of the eastern United States, groups like the Iroquois and Algonquin turned to agriculture, growing crops like corn, beans, and squash. These crops, known as the Three Sisters, allowed these societies to settle in one place and develop more complex social structures. As people spread across the continent, new tools and technologies were created. In the American Southwest, the ancestral Puebloans built sophisticated cliff dwellings and created elaborate systems of irrigation to thrive in the arid desert landscape. Their culture was marked by impressive pottery, textiles, and spiritual practices. Though they disappeared by the 13th century, their cultural influence remained in the region. Further south in Mesoamerica, the Olmec civilization became the foundation for future cultures. Known for their giant stone heads and intricate religious beliefs, the Olmecs influenced the Maya and Aztec civilizations, both of which achieved remarkable advancements in art, writing, astronomy, and architecture. The Maya, in particular, are remembered for their complex writing system, precise calendar, and towering stone temples. The Aztecs, building on these achievements, created a powerful empire in central Mexico and constructed cities like Tenochtitlan, showcasing their skill in engineering and agriculture. In South America, the Andean civilizations thrived in the mountainous region. The Norte Chico civilization developed early trade networks and organized social structures, while the Inca Empire later became the largest empire in pre-Columbian America. The Incas are remembered for their ability to conquer and unify a vast region through infrastructure like their road systems and agricultural terraces, which enabled them to feed a large population in challenging environments. The spread of cultures across the Americas highlights the adaptability and resilience of early human societies. As they moved across the continent, these early settlers created distinct languages, traditions, and technologies, forming the foundation for the diverse cultures that would emerge in the Americas long before European contact. The history of human settlement in the Americas is far more complex and nuanced than previously thought. New archaeological findings, combined with advances in technology and research methods, continue to challenge long-held beliefs about when and how humans first arrived in the Americas. From the Bering Land Bridge theory to coastal migration and oceanic routes, scientists are now exploring a range of possibilities for the first human settlers of the Americas. As our understanding of early human migration continues to evolve, so too does our appreciation for the rich and diverse cultures that arose across the Americas. The first inhabitants of the Americas were not just passive travelers. They were adaptive, resourceful, and innovative peoples who shaped the landscapes they encountered. Their legacy can still be seen today in the cultures and peoples of the Americas, from the Arctic to the Andes. Ultimately, the story of the first Americans is one of resilience, creativity, and survival in a new world. It is a story that is still being written, and with every new discovery, we come closer to understanding the incredible journey of human migration that began thousands of years ago.